Welcome to EPG Patsala. I am Dr. Shila Tirupati from CSR National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, and today I will be talking about on Indian culture. The title of the paper is Principles and Methods in Archaeology, and the module is Maritime Archaeology, Exploration and Recording of Submerged Sites. In this module, see, we have to locate that is we should explore it as well as we should record the remains. So, underwater archaeological explorations carried out to study the remains of human activity which lie on the seabed and floors of the river as well as the lakes. Those could be either ports, submerged sites, sunken shipwrecks, harbors, settlements. Okay. And the importance of each site will be different, and the period of each site will be also different, because it depends upon the site where you are exploring and where you are recording. If it is early historical site, the findings will be different and your approach should be different. And if it is a shipwreck site, your method, exploration techniques and recording will be also different. And moreover, the environment and the nature of the site would be also different and contrast. The exploration methods can be divided into broadly three parts. One is visual survey, that is exploration by the divers. See, I know also diving, being as a diver, I go into the water and I have dived up to in Indian waters 30 meters, and in Mediterranean Sea I have dived in 45 meters. Okay. So, diving, being a diver, archaeologist diving is highly useful, because when I dive, I can distinguish what is a man-made artifact, what is a natural artifact, whether it's, and I can also distinguish whether it is really required to document, to study the remains or not. Okay. So, in view of this, we generally feel the archaeologists should know diving, those who are looking forward to be a archaeologist, particularly maritime archaeologist. Secondly, another survey is by electronic gadgets the divers can carry, like your magnetometers, like your metal detectors, and your underwater scooter, submersibles, okay, anything, where the diver will be there and you can carry out the explorations. Okay. Another one is your equipments, where it is not required that divers should go, but the equipment can be deployed to carry out the explorations. And before undertaking these explorations, we should understand the background information and the importance of the site, and location of the site we should also know, and we should also know what is the type of this site. Is it a shipwreck site, submerged port site, or a settlement site, or some other kind of things we are going for exploration. And you should also know what is the causes of its loss, why the city or a port is submerged, and if it is a shipwreck, how a shipwreck has occurred. Okay. And coming to the visual explorations, in visual search, it can be, that basically the visual search, there are 3 to 4 type of techniques. One is circular search, another is swimline search, towing search, your jack stay search, probing, and metal detector. Coming to circular search, what happens, whether visibility is there, it is good. If not, it is also carried out where the visibility is low. During good visibility as well as low visibility, see, we do not know where the remains are there in underwater. Okay. So, generally what we do, or what is suggested is 2 or 3 divers can go. One fellow will be sitting at a particular point on the seabed, and you take a 5 to 10 meter length of rope, okay, one diver can sit at the static point at one position, and the other diver can release 2 meters, 3 meters of cable, and he can take circulars around the first the diver who is holding the rope or the thread. So, in this way you can explore the surrounding area, as well as you can record the findings. So, this is called circular search. Okay. The another one is swimline search. In this search, what you do, you take a permanent position, you can get the position marked in the GPS as well as in your log books, and two or 3 divers or 4 divers can go. They can take 15 meter, 20 meter, 25 meter length of cable or rope or wire or some kind of things, particularly PP rope is highly suggested. So, and you divide, if you have 4 divers and 20 meters, each at each place from one beginning there will be one diver, at the end will be there will be another diver, and at 5 meter one and 10 meter one and 15 meter one, 20 meter one, like that you can, before going you can decide, and each point there will be one diver, and the divers all together can swim forward, and wherever there are any kind of findings you can record it. So, in this way what happens, you are surveying more area in short duration in short time. Another is towing search. In towing search what happens, if the area is very vast and you want to do it very fast because of time or at a pre-disturbance survey like thing. So, 2 or 3 divers can take a sufficient required quantity of rope, you can hold it, and your the rubber Gemini can tow you. So, wherever you are finding any kind of things, that time you can give signal to the diver or to the master who is on board, and he can stop it, then you can record it. There is another type of this thing is, particularly in shipwrecks or port sites, you can probe the underwater to know at what depth, up to what depth the archaeological artifacts are buried, and you will know the nature of the seabed. So, in the visuals you can see it carefully. Whatever now I am talking about circular search or swim line or towing and underwater probing, there is another method is also there for visual search is jack stay. You can lead the jack stay and you can take surveys along the jack stay line, and wherever you are finding the remains or artifacts, you can document them, you can get the positions. So, these are the visual searches. Coming to your visual search by electronic gadgets or devices, it also depends upon the nature of operation, availability of facilities, and for deployment to carry out the exploration, and water depth. Because in underwater archaeology or maritime archaeology, water depth is a major factor. We should not ignore to that, okay? Because there is a certain rules we have to follow, particularly for diving when we are concerning about underwater depth, that is water depth. Okay. So, in this visual survey by electronic gadgets, generally in India we have used underwater scooter and ROV, but we do not have manned submersibles in our country. And in underwater scooter, the diver in subsequent slides I can show you how it works and all those things. Even we have used it in Pumpuar and in Dwarka waters, and there is another gadget is called ROV, and for these purposes your visibility should be good, and if you are knowing the location it is good. So, you can carry out the exploration in the surrounding areas, and there should be limited water depth, because limited water depth in the sense, see in an underwater scooter you can dive up to 10 to 15 meter is comfortable, but if you are going beyond 20 meter water depth there are some restrictions. So, that way I am talking about the water depth we have to take into account. And this underwater scooter, it is a battery propelled vehicle. The diver have to lay over it, and it is have a compass and depth gauge. The compass will give you the direction, whether you are going east direction or west direction, as far as your requirements and your project proposal plans, you have to use this underwater scooter. You know that if you want to go towards north of the site, then accordingly you have to follow the compass, and water depth will give you at what depth you are doing the survey. Okay, because more than 10 meters you have to be is okay, but if you are going beyond 10, there will be decompression chamber for if the duration is more. And coming to here, another benefit is there, large area can be surveyed in short duration. And manned submersible, see, these are equipment you can use. There are deep water submersibles and shallow water submersibles. For archaeological purpose, manned submersibles of shallow water is considered, which can go up to 90 to 100 meters, and it has got pressure, it has got the system you can communicate to the onboard, so they can give you the information. It has got arms, it has got cameras to record, and it is not only these manned submersibles can be used for maritime archaeological purposes. This can be used for other disciplines like geology or biology and all those things. And coming to another gadget, that is ROV, remotely operated vehicle, and it has got a video camera and propellers. So, in underwater you can maneuver this ROV of your required direction, and whatever artifacts or remains you found, those things can be recorded, and subsequently if it is possible, diver archaeologist or maritime archaeologist, they can go and they can study the remains. And after this, the electronic gadgets, where it is not required that divers can go, because of the depth and your project objectives and visibility and your unaware of the location where it is laying. Whether it is buried or not buried, whether you have seen it or not earlier. I told you this geophysical gadgets like Echosounder, subbottom profiler, and side scan sonar and magnetometer, all metal detector comes under the geophysical survey equipment. In Echosounder, what happens, you know that echo, it gives the echo. If you will see the your presentation, the slide in the picture, what is there in this Echosounder, you will get the bathymetric of the seabed. Okay, and in the bathymetric seabed, if the seabed is normal or smooth, then all on a sudden, if you get some kind of a unnatural thing, okay, either it could be something, may not be of natural, maybe of man-made, maybe of a shipwreck, or maybe something related to other archaeological artifact. Okay. So, when you will see the record of the echo sounding, you will see there is a distinguished pitch feature on the Echosounder itself. Okay. You see when in the figure of echo sounding, that is echogram, okay, there you will see the seabed is smooth, then it takes a up, then it comes down. So, wherever there is a pinnacles, it could be presumed that it could be a man-made artifact or a shipwreck. Okay. And in Echosounder, when the boat is moving, this instrument is mounted on it, and it gives the vertical peaks only. Okay. It won't give you the side peaks. So, wherever the ship is moving or the boat is moving, okay, it will give you the pinnacles of the vertical, and based on that, after several row of surveys, you can find out whether those are man-made or natural, and these findings can be confirmed with other surveys like side scan sonar. As I told you, in Echosounder it gives the vertical peak, but in side scan sonar you will see the side, and you are scanning the side of the seabed, and your instrument side scan sonar is mounted on a vessel, and whenever you are deploying it, it will scan the side. Okay. So, that is called side scan sonar, and you can fix the range from 50 to 500 meters as per requirement of your project, but it is always suggested that if you are scanning 50 to 100 meters, your recording quality and your pinnacles and your echo side scan that sonogram, it will give you better picture. So, you can study it further. And again, in the side scan sonar, as I told you, you will get the side of the sonar, that seabed topography of the side, and in the Echosounder you will get the vertical peaks. There is another gadget which is called sub-bottom profiler. In that equipment, what is happening, the artifacts which are buried either fully or partially, those things can be recorded. Okay. So, that is called sub-bottom profiler, and all these equipments are mounted on the vessel, mother vessel, and each equipment is having own what is called purpose. And in addition to sub-bottom profiler, we have another equipment is called metal detector or magnetometer. In magnetometer, what happens, wherever magnetic anomalies are there in the seabed, you will get those features recorded on the magnetometer recorder, and the Echosounder, the metal detector give you the presence of metals. And generally the metal detectors, there are two types, one is handheld and another is boat towed. So, when the area is big, we deploy the boat towing metal detector, and when the divers go, they carry the handheld metal detector. And I have explained to you about side scan sonar, and after side scan sonar metal detector, this is a handheld metal detector. Here there is a coil is there in the front, which will give you which will receive the metallic anomalies this, and in the meter which is there fixed with the metal detector, you can get the velocity. If it is a, see, there are various kind of metals you will find. Okay, if you are getting iron, copper, silver, gold, the velocity of that meter will be different, and in these metal detectors you can also distinguish ferrous, non-ferrous kind of metals. And we have used these metal detector in Dwarka as well as Pumpuar, particularly in the Pumpuar shipwreck, to understand the distribution of the shipwreck. And another thing is that after this survey, that is your visual or your geophysical survey or visual survey with these electronic gadgets, now we should know how the underwater findings are recorded. Okay. So, that is called underwater recording, and these underwater recordings also can be done in 2-3 ways. One is your camera, that is your still cameras, where you will get still photographs. Earlier we were using still cameras with your Konica and Kodak and black and white films we were using. Nowadays you are getting digital cameras. So, what is the plus point in underwater digital cameras? You can use those cameras and you can take number of pictures of the findings. So, it is better that you can take a particular object's views from various angles. Okay. And see, the basic difference between this surface camera and underwater camera is that wherever there is a gap or seepage of water is there, these are sealed with O-rings. So, when there are O-rings, I mean that becomes an underwater camera, and generally people use Nikon 5 cameras, and particularly in India we also use Nikon 5 cameras, and we have video cameras also. And in addition to these video camera and your still cameras, there is another system is called underwater drawing. So, in underwater drawing, either a diver archaeologist or 3 diver archaeologists can go. In underwater diving, what happens? A underwater drawing sheet is prepared, and which is made up, you can take a standard size 50 to 75 centimeter square one aluminum sheet, and under Garabare films are available. You can fix that Garabare film on that underwater your aluminum board, and below the your Garabare film you can keep a what is that called graph sheet. Keeping a graph sheet, it helps you to draw a particular artifact to the scale. And because you can prepare a sketch, but when you are drawing, suppose for instance you are recording a stone anchor, if you can measure it say 100 meter in the graph sheet which you have placed below the Garabare film, at least you can take 10 centimeters of that on the Garabare sheet you can mark it, and you can in the pencil you can mention that 10 is equal to 1 meter, 10 centimeter is equal to 1 meter. So, it will be useful while you are preparing the final drawings, and it is your ordinary HB pencils can be used to write in underwater. And in the visuals you can see we have used underwater drawing boards to record the stone structures in Dwarka waters. And whenever you are writing on the drawing board, you should not forget to mention the site name, date, water depth, your time of drawing, and what you are drawing. So, those things can be afterwards transferred to the final documentation of the report. And in addition to that, in video camera, you can now we are using in India, we are using Sony Handycams, and there nowadays other cameras also available, and there is a Sony underwater housing which you can see in the visuals. Okay, and you can put your Sony Handycam and the underwater this housing you can carry up to 40 meters, and there is a trigger button. If you want to continuously record the findings, you can go along with the Sony Handycam, you have to hold it and swim it. You see that you are not disturbed. If you want to get good visuals, you have to be, the diver have to very steady and very careful while recording, so that you will get a good output. Similarly, there is an underwater video camera on which there are cable connected to the camera and the monitor, and the diver on board can you guide to go left side, right side, and how to take the visuals of the artifacts. And in addition to this, I told you about the underwater photography, and we use Nikon 35 mm still cameras, and we get good output, and in this way you can record and undertake the explorations. Coming to the summary of this module, see, archaeological evidences gives up the unknown facts of our cultural heritage and maritime history. Okay. And from the studies we can understand whether those are the ship is, what could be the reason of the shipwreck, whether it is because of the human error or natural that is called natural, due to natural calamities or natural tragedies. Okay. See, natural tragedies or calamities, you do not know, all on a sudden the cyclone. Nowadays with the development of with the progress and development of technology, we can understand when there will be a cyclone or a storm, but in the olden days there was no such technology. So, because of cyclones and storms, number of ships have wrecked, both all over the world, okay. And sometimes what happened, in the olden days the main objective of our shipping was your business purpose. So, loading of cargo and all those things, because of those reasons there is that is human error, ships have wrecked. So, from the shipwrecks we are getting the evidences, and whether it is a shipwreck or a port or a settlement, all these part of our underwater cultural heritage, and UNESCO is very much concerned, okay. The UNESCO is very much concerned about underwater culture heritage of the globe, and the UNESCO is also taking various steps for the preservation, and if we will follow certain procedures and guidelines, we can record, we can locate, and we can document the remains. And underwater explorations, it is not that only the maritime archaeologist or underwater archaeologists also can carry. With the development of equipments, those things can also deployed, and students also can be encouraged, and amateur divers can be also suggested. If they find any kind of archaeological remains, they can report, and the maritime archaeologists or those who are involved in the study, they can carry out the explorations and record it for the future generation. Thank you very much.